Once upon a time, in a lush forest nestled between rolling hills, there grew a crooked tree. This tree wasn't like the others in the forest. While its companions stood tall and straight, the crooked tree bent and twisted in odd angles. Its trunk curved at peculiar angles, and its branches spiraled like the arms of a dancer. The leaves it bore were not like the others either, small, scattered, and often in odd shapes. The other trees often whispered about the crooked tree. They said it was an eyesore and a mistake of nature. "Why can't you be like us?" they would murmur when the wind rustled through the leaves. "You don't belong here, crooked tree." But the crooked tree, though saddened by the cruel words, had never complained. It was born this way, and it had learned to live with it. It had a deep understanding that beauty was in the eye of the beholder, and that each living thing had a purpose in the world. One day, a great storm came to the forest. The winds howled louder than any creature in the woods had ever heard. The storm whipped through the forest, and the trees, tall and proud, began to groan and creak under the weight of the violent wind. One by one, the straight trees began to snap, their trunks splintering under the pressure. But the crooked tree stood firm. The wind howled and screamed, but the crooked tree's bent trunk allowed it to sway with the storm, never breaking. It was flexible, resilient, and unyielding. As the storm passed and the sun began to peek through the clouds, the forest was left in silence. The once proud trees that had mocked the crooked one now lay in splinters and ruins. The crooked tree, however, remained standing, its twisted branches catching the light in a way that seemed almost magical. The animals of the forest, who had taken shelter in the trees, emerged from their hiding spots and saw what had happened. They gathered around the crooked tree, amazed by its survival. "You have saved us," said the wise old owl, perched on one of the crooked branches. "Your shape gave you strength. While the others were rigid and proud, you were flexible and patient." From that day on, the crooked tree was no longer ridiculed. The animals of the forest came to admire its resilience and unique form. The crooked tree had found its purpose: to stand tall not because it was straight, but because it had embraced its imperfections. Its crookedness made it strong, and it would continue to stand as a symbol of perseverance and beauty in the face of adversity. And so, the crooked tree lived on, its branches spreading wide, sheltering creatures from the storms of life, teaching all who saw it that sometimes being different is what makes you special.